So there we go. Just flashed up and said I'm live on Facebook and YouTube. So hopefully we'll get some numbers on here. And it always takes a little while to build up. So I'm just going to waffle away for a little bit. And then there we go. We've got 4 already. That's good. Yeah, it just takes a little bit to get the numbers up. And if you are seeing this live, you can post your questions on Facebook or YouTube, and I will do my best to answer them. So there we go. Mariska, hello to you. Lovely to see you. First one today. And Rosie Swan, lovely to see you, Rosie. So yeah, we're getting the numbers up. 9 already. Facebook user, it says, hello, Karen from Texas. Nice to see you. And yeah, how good. How great is this? It's starting to build a momentum already. Linda Dunn, hello, Linda. Lovely to see you. And hopefully the picture and the sound is all right, because I've got a very special guest that I'm going to bring on today, a friend of mine, Jason Kimpton, and we're going to talk about all things spiritual. We're going to go deep with this. We're going to talk about a retreat we're going to be running on the Algarve. It's going to be great. So hi to you, Will. Solidarity, brother. And Alice, great to see you. And Susie, hello to you. So yeah, we're going to talk about all things spiritual and a new retreat that we're going to be running on the Algarve. So yeah, that's going to be good. And thank you for that. Looks and sounds great. Well, I'll take that. We did have a little bit delay. Before we came on, there was a little bit of a delay between me and Jason. So hopefully it won't be too bad. Thank you, Deborah. Perfect sound. Hi to Paul. Hello to Elizabeth. Oh my God, nice to see you. Nice to see you too, Elizabeth. Thank you for being here. Thank you to everyone who's here. We're up to 30 already, so that's not too bad. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm going to bring on my good friend, Jason, who is an amazing gentleman who lives along the coast here in a place called Silves. And yeah, Jason and myself have got lots of ideas about things we're going to be doing in the future. And one of them is this amazing retreat. So Jason, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and how the retreat came about?
Hey, Glenn. Well, firstly, thank you very much for inviting me on, and hello to everybody who's tuning in. Yeah, great story with actually how this retreat came about and how this meeting between Glenn and myself came about. We met over the sale of a barbecue, funnily enough. Do you remember that, Glenn?
I do. It was,
yeah.
The weird thing was I'd projected out an idea that I wanted to kind of get involved in ceremonies and all kinds of things more spiritual. And lo and behold, I put my barbecue on sale for FaceBay, and Jason replied to my advert. And when Jason came round, we didn't talk. We forgot about the barbecue. We just spent 2 hours in my back garden chatting about all things spiritual and realized we had a great connection. And we've been besties ever since, haven't we?
Great friends. We found that we had so much in common with our mission that we're on with this awakening and this spiritual development. That the barbecue did move to the back of the conversation, and all things spiritual and medicine based came to the forefront, which meant that we developed this relationship now that where we're able to come together at our retreat space that we'd already been running here in the Algarve, and put together this fantastic opportunity to run this Trinity retreat that we're putting together. And it all started back with the barbecue sale. And the universe chucks in the strangest little twists and turns to put the right people together at the right time. It's been happening all my life.
It's a vibrational thing, isn't it? It's a vibrational frequency. When you're on similar paths and you've got similar goals, and you're working in a certain way, then you're resonating at a certain frequency, and it's natural that you then meet others on that same path and doing the same thing. It's purely vibrational. And yeah, getting some nice messages there, lovely messages. Tasia Spirit is saying, hi Glenn and Jason, hugs and love to everyone. Thank you so much. What a lovely message. And yeah, Mariska's saying, I talked about you. See, I talked about you before, Jace. And because it's sometimes, you meet certain people in your life and, new doors open, amazing new opportunities come along. And, I think we feel that for both of us. We've had experienced that, haven't we? And you find that when you make those connections, it's like, it's opportunistic for everyone. It's an abundant connection. And I really feel that with us. And,
Absolutely.
As we've got to, know each other better, we've talked about pooling our resources. And the thing we've decided on now is we're going to run some 6-day retreats, because Jason's place in Sylves is an amazing location. It's, how many acres is it, Jace?
It's just under 100 acres, but to talk in Euro speak, it's 40 hectares.
100 acres, 40 hectares, which is massive. You take you half a day to run around it. And we've got a little bit of a delay on here. That's why we haven't been smoking anything. There's just a little bit of a delay going on. So that's why we're not as sharp as we normally are. We're much sharper than this in real life. But yeah, so we've put together this retreat, and the idea is I'm going to be doing a workshop there. So I'm going to be running a meditation retreat for one of the days. Nicola, my wife, is going to be doing a cacao ceremony and a chakra dancing meditation retreat. Jason is going to be doing Qigong every day and leading us into freshwater lake swimming, because you've got an amazing lake on the property. We've got, you speak about the other guys, Jace, because you know their work better than me.
We have Robin Jennings, who is a Reiki master. He's coming to give people a sample of what it is to indulge themselves in the world of natural Reiki healing. We have Johnny White, who's João Branco, who's a local Portuguese guy down here who runs these most amazing sound bar sessions. He's absolutely dedicated to his work with crystal bowls and gongs and voice, and he will set up and create this magical sound space on one of the evenings. We also have a master percussionist called Sergio Almeida, again another Portuguese guy who's an absolute expert in his field of percussion. And he will bring drums and bring instruments and allow people and teach people to be in a drumming circle on one of the evenings. And believe me, the energy that is created when people get involved with that at any level, even if you're a complete novice to somebody who knows their way around a drum kit, it's something to really experience and something really beautiful to lift the energy in that way.
It's fabulous. It really is. And, so it's a 6-day retreat with all of those people that we just spoke about. The amazing thing is, where Jason lives in this valley, there's no light pollution. So when you look up at the stars at nighttime, it's like a trip in itself. The light show is just absolutely amazing. So yeah, there's going to be so much there. And obviously things have been a little bit slow with the retreat because of the restrictions we've got in the world at the moment. But the good news is, I think Portugal and now there's no restriction when you fly over. So you don't have to quarantine or anything like that. So yeah, and the retreat as well, we're doing a special introductory price. So it's 777 euros, because we're going to be doing a little bit of filming there. It's a launch price. And that includes all vegetarian meals, so your food throughout the 6 days, accommodation, and the workshops and every event at the retreat. And it is, as Jason touched on there, there's going to be a group energy when you do these retreats, and I've done them elsewhere. There's always this amazing group energy. You get to know people over the week, and it builds up over time, and it's a really amazing experience, and it leaves an impact on you. It really does. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, just experiencing the other retreats that are going to be there, the other workshops, I should say. It's going to be quite amazing. And yeah, it's mind, body, spirit makeover.
It will be a beautiful thing. The other thing that I personally have an interest in, and if I get time on the retreat to slot something in, I'm quite interested in our ability to access some really quite incredible chemical reactions in our own bodies through breath work. Namely, that is accessing the spirit molecule, or DMT, dimethyltryptamine, through a certain breath work where we can access that. And I'm also very interested in epigenetics, and I'm sure that your listeners and viewers, many of them will be aware of the principles of epigenetics. If you're not, then a great place to start would be to look at a video by Dr. Bruce Lipton, and it's a lecture called The Biology of Belief. It really is a fascinating field, and I've developed a work and a meditation around that. So if we had time, I'd even like to slot that in. Just going back to the stars, Glenn, and the light show here, we've now created a star deck on the flat roof. So we have an uninterrupted view of the Milky Way as it rises over the house. And when we're on the dark moon, it really is exceptional, as you know.
Yeah, I do know, because I experienced a ceremony at Jason's place. When was it? It was 6 months ago. It was around 6 months ago. And coming out of the Moloko room and looking up at the stars there was just an absolute trip. It was the most amazing experience, because we're so used to not seeing the stars as they are, because the world is so light polluted. So when you're in a place where there's no pollution like that and you see it, plus I was on this amazing journey, it was just something else. It was just something so magical and part of that whole experience. And and as Jason said, they've created a star deck now at the retreat center, so you can lay there and look up at the stars. And Nicola, my wife, she saw a shooting star at the time, really slowly going across the sky, she said it was amazing. So
yeah, really big shooting star.
Yeah,
so it was incredible.
Yeah. So we're saying, I noticed a few comments there, and Stacey is saying, I wish I lived closer. I would love to attend, but I'm way over in the US. I said it was amazing, Jamie. I did, and it is. And Tasia is saying, wow, gives shivers down the spine. Claire, hello to you, Claire. Sounds incredible. It is. It's one of those unique experiences you have in life, where it's just, just really, you just really feel you're alive in those moments, don't you, after ceremony and in this kind of space, when you're doing this healing work and cleansing. And I suppose, the retreat, we're going to run them every year. That's the plan. We're Jason's been doing a lot of work at the retreat center, and we're going to be running them every year and developing them. And I've no doubt over time, they're going to be hugely popular, because we've got all the right ingredients, to create magic and to create a space where people can come and really recharge and get healed and, work on themselves and raise their vibration, expand their consciousness. And, we've both been on that path, haven't we, for some time, Jace? And what would you say for you, because tell people about your journey, because I've found your journey fascinating, how you took off when you had 3 young kids, and you just through hell for leather, and you went and took off and traveled around Australia for 3 years. So tell us a bit about that journey, because I think people will find that really interesting.
Yeah, I got to the age of, I think 35, and hardworking lad, and had achieved, I ticked all the boxes that they tell you have to tick, and kind of got to a point, well, is that it? You know, I could only sort of really see train tracks going off to the distance with another house, another holiday, another car, etc. And my wife, my angel, in actual fact, turned around and said, well, you don't have to carry on doing this. If you want, we can just sell everything and go. And bless her, I took her on her word. And we did sell everything, and the business, the cars, the house. And we took our 3 children, who were then 8, 6, and 3, traveling across the world to see what life had in store for us. And as you mentioned a little bit earlier, Glenn, what happens when you do this kind of thing? I mean, our friends were really shocked and scared for us, but what happens when you let go, and when you do that and you open yourself to the field, the quantum field of possibilities, the universe recognizes it immediately and starts to bend things towards you. It just starts to make synchronicities happen, make situations happen, make sure that you meet the right people at the right time. And it's an amazing frequency to be operating at. It really is.
Wow.
So yeah, we travel.
I love that. It's like, it's the story of the alchemist, isn't it? The Paulo Coelho book, isn't it? His book, The Alchemist, was about that. It was about going off on this journey and trusting in your intuition and your higher guidance. And, you know, the moral of that story was that the universe works with you. When you're brave like that and you follow your passion, you follow your dream, the universe conspires to work with you. And, you know, it's quite an amazing story, because a lot of people talk about doing those kind of things. You know, I want to go and live off grid. I want to do this. I want to live, you know, just take off. I'm sick of the rat race. I want to get out of the matrix. But you really did it. And you also did it when you had 3 young kids, and your bus is still on the land, isn't it? That you did it, that you drove around Australia in. And, you know, it looks like it should be in a museum now. And back in the day, it would have, you're obviously a good mechanic, Jace, but you did it. You were brave, and the universe rewarded you.
Oh, and tenfold. I mean, we spent 4 years on the road, literally on the road, living in a 1957 Bedford house truck, which we eventually bought back from New Zealand on a kiwi fruit ship across Pacific Ocean, through Panama Canal, across Atlantic Ocean, and back into the UK. And then we started driving and figure-of-eighting in Europe. And one really great story with that truck is we drove up into the Pyrenees to try and do some snowboarding with the kids. We'd missed the snow season, so I parked the truck up way up in the nearest at the top of the Pyrenees, freezing cold evening. And we were getting settled in for the evening, and this car came herring round the bend and put the brakes on full, screeched across the car park, and before the car had even stopped, this German guy was running out towards me when I'd come to the door to see what was going on, screaming, "How are you here? How are you here?" Now, I didn't remember him, but he remembered me. And his last conversation with me had been in a coastal town called Kaikoura on the southern coast of the South Island of New Zealand. So for me to then appear in front of him in the Pyrenees was a sight to behold. And we had a good chat. And yeah,
Wow.
but even that sent a ripple into
Yeah,
him
yeah.
that he then carried on. Whatever happened with his life, I don't know, but it was a joyful moment, I have to admit. Yeah.
Yeah. It just shows you, doesn't it, how everything is energy and frequency. And, by you going on that trip, how your life transform your life. And, I know you and Kay are, such knowledgeable people in the area of spirituality. And, if you'd have stayed at home in England and, you've been in a job, would you have been able to expand your consciousness and open up like you did? Probably not. It's by the fact that you took that chance, you went off and accumulated all that
Probably.
experience and knowledge. And it's fortune
Yeah.
favors the
Yeah.
brave, doesn't it?
And it does. And I think in a way, Glenn, if I'm totally honest, it was all part of preparation for what was to come for me a little bit later down the line with meeting plant medicine. Yeah, it was a great preparation for a trip that ended up taking us to the jungles of Peru.
Yeah, that's an amazing experience. I know myself, I've journeyed a number of times. So yeah, tell people about how you ended up there in Peru and your experiences with Mother Ayahuasca.
Yeah. What happened, we had come back and settled in Portugal with our 3 children. And it soon became evident that our oldest son was, he was struggling a bit into his teenage years. And that struggle became tougher and tougher. And he eventually left to go back and work in England. And so did his brother and his sister. They're all working there now. But our oldest son, he struggled to a point that he got to a place where he didn't want to be here anymore. And as a father, that is a crushing thing to hear. And we needed to get to him, and I got to him in the UK, and he was at crisis point and really didn't know what to do. Prior to that moment, a couple of months prior to that moment, Kay and I had been walking our land here as we do every day. And the subject of Mother Ayahuasca had come up, and we actually vocalized to each other, do you know what? I don't think that's ever going to be on our radar, not in this lifetime. And we kind of put it to bed. Boom, big mistake. So this thing happened with our oldest son. He was at crisis point, and the options were either to go into the route of the pharmaceutical suppression of his symptoms, which basically would mean a sectioning, very heavy antipsychotics and antidepressive drugs, which would basically cloud his brain or smother his brain into a submission away from depression. Or we go to the jungles of Peru and explore the healing properties of Mother Ayahuasca. And so we gave Eddie that choice, our oldest son, that choice, and he chose that. And so myself, oldest son, and Kay ended up on a plane into Peru, up into Iquitos, and then on a boat into an area of the jungle just northeast of Iquitos to meet with plant medicine. For me, I thought I was there just to support my son. I'm doing it to support my son. And wow, mind blown. I was given a real expose into myself, into how I was as a man. And that journey continues to this day to striving to be a better man. My son is working as we speak now at festivals in England. He is much improved. His situation is much improved, and he is medication free, at least medication free as far as antipsychotics and antidepressants are concerned. And since that moment, I have been with him in ceremony a couple of times. Yeah. So for me, it's been a revelation, life-changing experience, and something that I will always hold dear to my heart and dear to our lives.
Yeah, it is such an amazing journey when you make that contract with the mother and you decide you want a journey. It's just amazing. Even if you've not got anything lined up, even if you haven't got your tickets to Peru or whatever, it's amazing how the mother sometimes comes to you, and the pathway is opened up. And I've journeyed a number of times, and once with Jason, and it's a life-changing experience, because the medicine has such intelligence. It knows where to go with you and how to, show you certain aspects of your life that, you need to work on. It illuminates the shadow energy, and it is an incredible experience. My wife, Nicola, experienced it for the first time earlier this year. And Nicola's kind of never experienced anything like that. When she was younger, she never really drank or smoked or took drugs, whereas I'd been through that experiences. So I kind of, was more prepared. I thought I was more prepared, but she was probably more prepared than I was, because she read up on it, she studied it, and when she journeyed, she had the most amazing experience and illuminations, and it's I just want to as well make a clear distinction between drugs like acid and recreational drugs that we often did when we were young, and this is a plant medicine that takes you on an incredible healing journey, and you feel very safe and very supported in the right environment. And it is amazing. It can be tough at times, because this stuff comes up within you, your shadow stuff comes up, things you need to heal. And when they come up in you really strongly, and the emotions there, you purge and you vomit, and it comes out of you physically. And so it can be tough at times. You get very scared, because you're out of control. But ultimately, you're in safe hands with Mother Ayahuasca, because it's giving you what you need, not what you want.
Yeah, I think what's really important to note there is the sacredness of the space and the reverence. And this is not something we do for recreation. So, believe me, it's not a recreation thing. And it's also important to recognize that it's not for everybody. And, part of what I speak about in the Trinity retreat is that very same molecular structure that is delivered by the plants is actually in every living organic thing on the planet, from a blade of grass through to the trees at some level, that being DMT. That being what they call the spirit molecule. And the greatest store of that in the human body is believed to be in the lungs. So through this breath work and disciplined breathwork practice, we can access the effects of what every single creature and living organic thing on this planet has within themselves in any case. And it's extraordinary. What it does is it actually tunes up your pineal gland and to become a receiver. Receiver to whatever you want to call it, great spirit, but you tune in to the universe and the field to such a degree that you get direct downloads.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point, isn't it? Because the lives we live are often so geared up for our work and family, and watching TV, and so you get disconnected from source. And what ayahuasca does, it helps you to plug back into that really strongly. And when you do that, it also stays with you. It has a lasting effect. You get the, for the 2 weeks after ceremony, you often get this amazing afterglow when you're still sort of bathing in the feeling of the medicine, and you realize what's important in this world. It gives you that sort of clarity. So yeah, it's like a tune-up, isn't it? You come back to it every time, and I feel, and you kind of almost fall in love with the medicine. I know Nicola has, my wife. She's really in love with it, and she's often playing Icaros on YouTube. We have them playing in the front room, and as soon as we hear those songs, we're plugged back into the ceremonies, and it is, you do have a love affair with medicine because it gives you so much, and it opens you up, and you, like you said, your pineal gland clears, and you start to then get this wisdom and this creativity buzzing around again. And the way life is designed, often the modern life in this sort of patriarchal world that's falling apart, I should say, which is a good thing, even though it's very uncomfortable. It's a good thing. It's you get back to what's important. The medicine helps you do that. And and I should say that the medicine is not going to be part of our retreat. The retreat is something separate. The retreat I talked about, the retreat is going to be my meditation ceremony, Jason's qigong, Nicola's cacao ceremony, Johnny White's gongs and sound frequencies. That's a separate thing. So I just want to clarify that distinction. It's not a medicine ceremony, but it's going to be absolutely amazing. And Diana is saying, was the book Jason mentioned, The Healing Power of Belief? I think it was the Bruce Lipton book you were talking about, wasn't it? The biology of belief.
It's actually, I don't know whether it's been written down. It may have been now, but it's Dr. Bruce Lipton, and it's called, the lecture is The Biology of Belief.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. And so that's the difference. The ceremony will be it's always a difficult one to talk freely about because for certain reasons, but our retreat is going to be just a mind, body, spirit retreat on the land for 6 days, and it's going to be an amazing experience. So if anyone's got any questions now, we've got almost 50 on now. So anyone's got any questions, do type them into the box there, and me and Jace will do our best to answer you. And I've just seen my old mate Paul Judany. Good to see you, boy. He was I was in a band with Paul when I was 18, 19, back in the early 80s, and he was the saxophone player, and he was the funniest member of the group. He used to make us belly laugh. You get these guys in life who've just got the funny gene, and Paul had that. He'd just make you laugh all the time. And we went out to the south of France for a couple of weeks after, because we won a competition, a pop competition. We went out to the south of France as a band, and we just laughed our way through 2 weeks. It was just such a gas. And Paul and me are still mates now. We lost touch for a long time, but we're back in touch. So yeah, Diana, it's The Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton. So yeah, and Jason's journey. You're a Southend boy, aren't you, originally? And a rugby playing Southend boy is, and I'm from South London, and here we are. We both find ourselves out in the Algarve, and it's funny. Lives connect, isn't it?
Yeah, just following those hunches and those synchronicities and those frequencies. It's my heart-brain belief that the universe has your very best interests at heart.
Yeah.
And if you allow that, then she will just show you the most fantastic time and most fantastic life. And you and myself, Nicola, all of you people that have tuned in, you're all beautiful people. You're here for exactly the reason you're meant to be here. I believe we signed up to be here at this time before we got here with our soul contracts. And, none of us are getting out of here alive. So we've really got to tune in to enjoy it and recognize the frequencies that are available to us. And just love it.
That's spot on. It's about, it's our minds that always get in the way, isn't it? And the fear thing that can stop you from, following your path, the path that you're supposed to be on. Because when you follow your heart, it will always guide you in the right direction, but it's the fear stuff, and in this day and age at the moment, there's a lot of fear around, a lot of people feeling anxious. There was a message on here earlier that somebody said about fear and anxiety. How do I get out of that mindset? And, one of the simplest ways to do that is through meditation, through creating a daily practice every day of meditating. Even if you can only meditate for 10 minutes or 5 minutes, and I love that quote, that Zen quote that says, if you haven't got time to meditate for 15 minutes, then you should meditate for an hour. And it's that thing, if you're too busy to meditate for a short time, then you need it more than ever. So that's the way, that's the way to get out of it. If ever I get to a point where I'm feeling overloaded, and I'm buying a house next week, next Wednesday I sign, and I've been moving money around, doing all that stuff, speaking to lawyers, banks, and it's been pretty full on and stressful. But, the way I come out of it is I just switch my mind off and meditate. Even if I do it for 5 or 10 minutes, I find that's a massive reset. It just gets me back into, calming. It's like it gives your left brain a chance to reset. And, it's so easy to forget the importance of that. And especially now, because everyone is feeling a bit strung out. And also, don't watch the news. I always say that. Do not watch the news, because A, they're lying to you, and B, they're just spreading fear, low vibrational fear, and we don't need that in our lives. So, just be very mindful of what you watch, what you read. Make sure you're eating healthily, you're exercising, you're getting fresh air, doing all, going back to the basics, and meditation. Make meditation a practice daily. Anything you want to add to that, Jace? What can you do at this time to really keep yourself on top?
Yeah, definitely. For me, I'm in a very blessed place. I'm surrounded by nature. But usually for everybody, there'll be somewhere where they can get to slip their shoes off and their socks and place their feet on Mother Earth. And if you can do that, it's an amazing grounding, energetic sensation. And if you're not one for, allocating yourself time for a meditation, if you can just do that and then notice the sounds around you, a breeze on your face, a bird song, you're actually connecting with God or Great Spirit, the universe at that time. And there's a simplicity in that which actually physiologically makes the brain start to produce chemicals that tell the heart and the adrenal system that everything's all good. And there's been a recent study that our trees produce something called phytoncides or phytocides, and they exude this from their leaves and their bark. And this is known to have a calming effect on the human body. So if you can just go out and be near a tree, sit under a tree, get your feet on the ground, feel some breeze, listen to birdsong, allow nature to envelop you. Then physiologically, at a chemical level, the trees and the grass are actually doing you good. Just breathe it in.
That's good. Great advice. Being in nature is so important, isn't it? Just to reset yourself and to come out of the monkey mind and to be present while you're there. So if you are in a forest or whatever, for me, it's always the beach. I love the beach. And I'm lucky I live quite near to a beach here, or some lovely beaches, I should say. And I needed it the other day. I was dealing with the bank and all stuff. And I sent a bank transfer from one bank to another. And 2 weeks ago and it still hasn't arrived. And, you know, so that you can imagine the stress of that, having to try and ring the bank, and in Spain as well, it's Spanish, and my Spanish is, you know, like Del Boy Spanish. So yeah, a bit stressful. So I had that, and I thought, oh, sod this. And I went off to the beach and had an afternoon on the beach, swam in the sea, meditated on the beach. And I came back feeling like $1 million, totally refreshed, and all the bank stuff. I mean, the problem was still there, but I felt much more creative and positive about the situation. And that's what it does. You know, it doesn't, you know, you still have challenges to face and things that are going on in your life you need to sort out. But doing those things, taking time out to do those things, allows you to be much more productive in facing these challenges. So yeah, it's always about that, coming off the treadmill every now and again. Just come off the treadmill, take time out to breathe, to be very mindful, and even better, if you can, come out to mine and Jason's retreat. Jason, well, I should say Jason and Kay. I'm a participant in the retreat. I'm going to be running a meditation workshop. Jason and Kay are going to be amazing hosts. They're, you know, me and my missus, we say they're our favorite people out here on the Algarve. We love them, and we love their place. And they've got 2 beautiful dogs. Even our kids love going down there. My 2 little boys, because they were petrified of dogs. They had a real thing about dogs. So much so that one day we were in Lagos in the town centre, and this old dog, I mean, this dog was about 30 and he could barely walk, and he was on a lead. And as soon as the kids saw this dog, they both let out this almighty scream that nearly cleared Lagos. You know, I mean, they've got some lungs on them, these boys. They started screaming at this old dog, and I literally had to take the kids back and get them home and try to, you know, calm them down. And Jason said, I'll bring them down to our place. The dogs, you know, the older dog is like so good with kids, and he'll reset them. Sure enough, we took them down to there. The vibration of the land, the doggies, and the kids now, they're like dog whisperers. They love all dogs now. And that was the reset. So yeah, it was amazing. And yeah, the land is an amazing place. Jason's, you know, you've been there 15, 20 years, haven't you, Jason? It's an amazing place. It really is. And you swim. You are the original Wim Hof, I should say. You and Kate swim in your lake all through winter.
Yeah, every day.
Every day.
And in the summer, blistering summer, it's really just to keep us cool. But we do it right through the winter as well. So we're cold water dipping.
And what would you say the benefits of that are? You know, how would you describe the feeling you get from that and the after effect? Jason has frozen for me. I can't see Jason. That's why there's a little bit of a delay, which is a shame. Jason does have a website. Let me find it for you. Just let me know if you're watching this, if you can see me, but Jason's frozen, because that's what I'm seeing. So let me find you the website for Jason, the Trinity Retreat. All right, there it is. So let me post it in the comments section. Normally Rusty Boy's around, but he's having a break today. He would do this for me, but there we go. I've just posted it. So that's the link. Yeah, I lost Jason. So thank you, Jamie. I'm not frozen, but Jason is. Where Jason is, the blessing of it, it's off grid. It's a beautiful place in this valley, but you get no phone signal there. And it's yeah, can you see the retreat? There's the link to the retreat. Yeah, you don't get the Wi-Fi is a little bit slow. Well, it's very slow. That's why Jason was delayed there. But anyway, I hope you got a really good feeling about the retreat and what we were talking about there. It is going to be a fantastic retreat. And yeah, the first one's always the hardest to get going. You know, once you get the first one under wraps, and, you know, so that's why we're doing a launch one. This first one is mid-October. It's a launch event, and we're doing it at the special price of 777 from 777 euros. I should say, 777. Next year, it's going to be 1,200, around that price. So yeah, so if you can come along, we'd love to see you. It's going to be a great place to hang out with like-minded souls and just to get the mind, body, spirit connection rebooted. And speaking of that, I'm going to reboot Jace. But here he is. He's back again. We lost you for a minute there, Jace. You froze, then you disappeared, but you're back on now.
Yeah. Can you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
It's probably about time to round up because we've been going 45 minutes and I'm off to football tonight. I'm playing football along the coast and he's gone again. Oh, what a shame. But the good thing was we had a good 45 minutes of chatting with Jace, and he's a top man. He's you come to the retreat and he just holds the space so beautifully, and his wife Kay is a beautiful soul, and she's a very caring, nurturing person, and I'm looking forward to it. You know, I've got a load of different projects on, different things going on, but I'm really into this. You know, I've given a lot of time and energy to it because I love it. I love what it's going to be. I love the people I'm going to be working with, and it is going to be amazing. So if you can come along. And Jamie's saying, thank you for being with us, Jamie. I've got to go. Love and light. Pauline's saying, thank you for the link. Have a look at it. Diana, I think you're in the States, aren't you? I can't go this year, but perhaps next year, because that's a bit of a trip for you. But we'd love to see you down there. And Beatty is saying, my name is Beatty. Ah, nice to see you. And Mariska's saying, yes, he is nice. He's a top man. I love hanging out with him. And he's just come back. So we're trying one more time, but we're going to wind it up in a minute. So Jace, over to you, mate. We're going to wind it up. Anything you'd like to say?
No, sorry about the gap in the transmission there. Gremlins in the works. No, just to say thank you to everybody who has joined, and it's been a real honour to chat with you, Glenn, and your guests. Only one thing to point out. I think you said earlier that you had a lady from United States who was concerned about if she could travel over here. Well, we have a retreat beginning on Monday with 2 participants from the United States. So I know for a fact that they are able to get here without any complications. But yeah, we really look forward to seeing you, and whoever gets here will be the right people, and it'll be a beautiful time for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Jason. Always a pleasure chatting with you. And yeah, I will see you very soon because we meet up. Jason comes to me, I come to him. Once we bought the house, Jason's going to come over. So cheers, buddy. Lovely to speak to you. Have a good weekend. We did it. We got through it. My internet's been a bit dodgy lately. It's been cutting out at different times, but at the moment when I'm doing these webinars, it's good. Jason, as I said, he lives off grid, and so the internet's a bit slow. That's why we had a gap there. But yeah, thank you to everyone for coming on. It's always a pleasure talking to you and getting your lovely messages. And check out the retreat. I'm going to post it one more time there. There we go. Conscious Earth Retreat. Click on that link, go to the website, have a look. If you can't make this one, come next year because it is going to be amazing. And yeah, and whatever you're doing, wherever you are in the world, you know, keep the faith that everything's going to be all right. You know, the light is going to defeat the darkness in this world. Always look back in history. It always has done. The light has always won out. So keep the faith. Don't let fear get hold of you. Remember to meditate, you know, as Jason said, be in nature, you know, walk in the woods, get to the beach, do those things because they really do, you know, take the stress out the bucket. You know, that bucket when it flows up, and you've got to stop it overflowing, haven't you? The stress bucket, and those things do it. So look after yourself, be mindful, be present. And I'm going to be on Insight Timer on Wednesday at 4 p.m. So that's this Wednesday coming 4 p.m. So take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Namaste.